Hello and welcome to Supply Chain Africa News. I'm your host Wandabo Wanyama, and today we are joined by Mrs Nimo Hussein, who has worked with reputable companies in Kenya for over 10 years, and she is also a board member of Kenya Institute of Supplies Management. Ms. Nimo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, son, Mr. Wanyama. As you know, my name is Nimo Hussein, a supply chain specialist with over 12 years experience in the energy and service sectors. Currently, I'm a Chief Supply Chain Officer at KenGen PLC. I'm also a council member, an elected council member with the Kenya Institute of Supplies Management. Part-time, I'm also an examiner, verifier, and assessor of supply chain management papers. So I'm delighted to be here today.
Okay, you're always welcome. Before even we start into the questions, how is it like working as a council member for Kenya Institute of Supplies Management?
It's been very fulfilling because I've always wanted to be a leader, to influence and impact people. So this capacity has really enabled me to achieve that.
Okay.
Yes.
Why did you join supplies management?
But it was very interesting, yeah. It's not something I planned for or envisioned, yeah. It actually happened when I was a second-year student pursuing my undergraduate studies in business management. Of course, I thought I'll be an accountant, or a marketer, something around business management. So at that time, I had never actually heard about procurement and supply chain management. Then there was this particular lecturer who took us through a course called Introduction to Purchasing and Supply. And before he went through the content or the syllabus, he was very passionate and driven about this course called Procurement and Supply Chain Management. And he told us, this is the future, not just nationally, but globally. And he just took us through what it all encompassed. And I think I changed my mind there. And he really motivated me without knowing. And that's how I started now this journey to procurement and supply chain management. But up to that level of being a second-year student, to be honest, I had never heard about the career. Yes, not like the lawyers, the engineers, Yes.
So you have remained in the profession. What has kept you in supply chain for all that long?
It's the exposure, yeah. I'm very good with interpersonal skills. And supply chain management is an entire network, yeah? And it just doesn't connect people nationally, but also globally. So the exposures that I get, the challenges, the problem-solving skills, yeah? Every step is an area where you really have to analyze the things you are doing and be able to benefit the bottom line of every institution. And that has really been a driver for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Currently, you are working with KenGen. Probably someone watching at home will be like, how did Nimo get to where she is today?
But then some people will say, you are just lucky, especially when they see your age and everything, but they really don't know the sleepless nights you spent to really reach there, First of all, it's a very technical industry, very technical. It's an engineering company, and for you to be valued, you must understand the business. And of course, I don't have any engineering background. But right now, if you talk to me, I can give you all the engineering jargons you can think of. So, and that required a lot of reading. You have to read widely. You have to understand the industry. You have to relate with it so that you are able to impact and improve and even add value to that particular area. So it requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of hard work, time, and your relationship skills, how you actually deal with people, is also key because it's a learning lesson, and you have to be open in terms of your mind. Be open to learn and appreciate how things are done. Yes.
As a woman in supply chain and also as a Muslim, do you face any stereotypes?
Wanyama, believe me, I face it every other day, and I think I'm disadvantaged in every manner you can think about. It's if it's age stereotype, if it's based on my dress code, you are judged by just the way you are dressing, the fact that you are a lady. So there are those when somebody meets you initially, they judge you based on what they see physically. It's only after I open my mouth that is when now I'm appreciated and taken seriously for who I am and what I'm here to bring. Really. Yes. So those stereotypes by there are things I just have to navigate through day in, day out.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a time whenever I speak to people in the line of business, when they talk to me on phone and they see me physically, and you know, they are taken aback in most cases because they are like, on phone your voice is so authoritative, older, you know, and you're like, yeah, this little girl here, you know. So it's a very interesting.
So how does that actually make you feel like?
It's not nice, to be honest, yeah, because there's nothing as bad as being judged based on physical appearance.
Yeah.
It's the most demeaning thing, actually. Yes, you really have to prove yourself based on your brain, let me say. Yes, the intellectual information you have, and that is very heavy. It's really tasking. Yes.
So how do you overcome all those stereotypes?
As I said, one of the things, of course, is education. I really thank my educational background, both academically, professionally. I'm a reader, so at least I get to read a lot. So I understand the audience. So anytime, I already expect some of the stereotypes I expect before I meet a specific audience or an individual. So you have to prove yourself based on your intellectual knowledge, so that now it overshadows the physical stereotypes. Yes.
What has been your biggest highlight in your profession?
I can say it has been a lot, but my highlight is mentoring and coaching the young professionals out there. They are lost a lot, yeah? There are some things education will never teach you, okay? How to navigate life. It's something you will not be taught in a classroom setup, yeah? And that is something you just learn through exposures, through networks, through the mentorship and coaching programs.
Okay.
So in as much as you are academically good, you're professionally good, but there's those personality skills you really need to help you boost you, especially as you transition to middle level, top, and leadership positions, yeah? There are those interpersonal skills that come in handy. And that one you'll never be taught in any classroom.
Yeah.
Yes, how to lobby, how to do this, how, you know. So those are things I really interact with the people I mentor and tell them how to, those kind of skills, how you can improve on them.
Yeah.
And some of them, of course, they are said there are those attributes you're born with, you inherit. Yeah, like I'm hot-tempered. Everybody in my family maybe is hot-tempered, yeah?
Yeah.
But when it comes to your professional
And are you
life,
hot-tempered?
I am. By then I happen to be, yes?
Okay.
And people say, you know, being a Somalis are very hot-tempered, yeah? That's another stereotype. Yes?
Yes.
So those are the things, now you just see how to manage them. So your strong aspects and your weaker aspects, yeah? How to balance and manage them. It's very important.
As a mentor, I know some mentees approach you in terms, they have a certain notion about the profession. How do you deal with that?
It is very true, especially in the public sector, and this is public knowledge here in Kenya. And the ethical issues are very rampant. Okay, the few, I don't know whether sometimes the media tends to highlight, yeah? And of course, ethical issues have been a major concern from top of our leadership, that is the president. And he's been trying to fight corruption for the longest time possible. And I remember when I was pursuing my professional qualifications, I found an engineer there doing procurement, professional course. And he's like, you know, that is where the money is. You can just imagine. So the perception is, I'm pursuing this career because of certain perceptions, and it's very sad.
When you say that you want to make your work with your suppliers to be seamless, as the council, what are you doing to ensure that there is that good relationship in terms of doing business between the suppliers and those businesses that are acquiring those goods?
A lot has been happening, especially around capacity building programs, and we've been partnering with very strategic partners, including the National Treasury, some private sector players. We have KAM, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, you know, and by the way, this is an area which actually impacts the economy as a whole very seriously, yeah. And right now, Buy Kenya, Build Kenya is the way, and we've seen it with COVID. The struggles we've gone through in terms of importing things, because Kenya is known for being a heavy importer out there. So how can we bring up our local industries and build them, yeah, and grow the economy so that even money flows within the economy and it's not always being exported out of the country. So that is a heavy area in terms of capacity building in different sectors, yeah, and enhancing our local content creation, and also in terms of consuming our own local content creation. So it requires, of course, a lot of lobbying. It requires, and it's not something you can achieve in a year. It's a long-term program. So with proper goals and initiatives, I believe we'll achieve it.
So do you think you have achieved anything so far?
Yes, a lot has been done, especially around the AGPO area. That is the women, youth, and people living with disability. A lot of policies and manuals have been, even affirmative action programs. You've heard about 30% of all public sector procurements going to these disadvantaged groups. So the goals and the programs are really there, and they're live, and they're actually being tracked to ensure that we achieve it. And on top of the AGPO, of course, we have that one now of Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, and promoting our citizen contractors, and it is even anchored in law now. They have gone to the extra mile of it being anchored in law. Yes. So
when you say that it has been anchored in the law about the minority and stuff, we have seen some people, even the foreigners, they come and partner with local people. They form a company so that they can benefit from the same. Yet at the end of the day, the local person that they have won a tender because of that person will only get probably 10 or 20% of the total proceeds that the company will get from that contract. So as the council, what are you doing to ensure that those people who are going to benefit from these tenders are purely locals?
And Wanyama, that's a very good question. And I'll go back to my earlier answer, yeah? It's all about capacity building and having the resources required to take up those tenders. Now, the major challenge we face is, in as much as these opportunities are there, many of our citizens are not ready because they don't have the requisite resources in terms of labor, in terms of capital, even let's say, especially in the construction industries, it requires a lot of investment in capital, and they are very expensive. And that's why you find now they are partnering with internationals. But with that, there's one aspect which the law allows, whereby for international bids, 40% must be local content. The whole essence of that is because to enhance knowledge transfer, build capacity, those kind of things, so that it reaches a point whereby we actually do not need foreigners. So the council is really concentrating on the area around capacity building and even making it accessible to access such loans. You've heard about LPO financing, for instance, because the youth, especially the youth, and the disadvantaged groups, in terms of having the required finances, has been a serious challenge, and even accessing those loans in banks and insurance and the likes has really been a challenge. So it's all about how can we capacity build. And capacity building is not just the skills, even the required resources. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to take a short commercial break, and we are still with Mrs. Nimo Hussein. And when we come back, she will tell us more about her young family.